This year, 2025, we are finally starting our own experimental garden plot. It's going to be situated here within our larger fruit orchard and conveniently right next to our garden kitchen. We have been thinking and working on it all winter long, and now we are ready to get started. It's going to be around 35 square meters big, fenced in with a rustic, beautiful paling fence just to keep out, any hares and so from eating our future vegetables. Our idea for the garden is to not replace the vegetables which we buy now at farmers markets, in stores and even supermarkets, but actually to supplement it. Because at least around here in Vienna, the selection of plants and fruits which you can buy is of course really good, but there are so many more fantastic and tasty plants out there which we would just love to have on our plates, and that is the goal. We are just gonna plant them on our own. For now, of course, now is the building process. Now is the time where the garden gets started. To be honest, we are already somewhat late because it's now beginning of March, but we did a lot of prep work and are very confident that we can get the garden started. How everything works out in the end, which plants grow, which won't, this is going to be the exciting part, and this is also the challenge which we are really looking forward to take on. The garden itself is not going to be in a traditional style, but it's actually an experimental plot. We are trying to find the perfect mixture between ancient knowledge, wild varieties of plants and modern technology to just come together into the perfect, really low maintenance garden. So we're going to do lasagna-style beds. We're going to introduce a lot of technology, automation into it. Irrigation, of course, is going to be automatic. There are even going to be some weeding robots roaming the ground, and there is going to be a snail fence all around it. So let's go. Fully closed in some bramble-proof work clothes, it's now time to remove, first of all the old fencing. Those brambles are really amazing. So if everything would grow like they do, I mean, would be set for life. I realized that buying this plastic fence some years ago was really a terrible decision. Thought it was actually a good idea because I don't like metal fence, but now removing it is even worse than a metal fence. And although it's supposed to be UV resistant, it's also brittle now. No. Never ever do this. This is my tree onion, at least the winter version of it. It grows really well, but of course now it's all grown in, but you can already see the young shoots coming out, so I'm really excited for it to grow properly in the new garden patch. So now that I have removed all of the plastic stuff, old fencing, there were some bricks in there from an old garden which used to be the path, so hopefully I removed all of those. And I marked my onion not to mow into it. It's time for the spacing saw to really get rid of all the brambles and old grass and that, so to have a perfect start for a new garden. One thing that I really can recommend highly if you're dealing with brambles and those things are those mulching blades for the spacing saw. There are 2-pronged and 3-pronged ones. It is quite hard on the headgear here, so you need a bit of a bigger spacing saw to do that, but it's just amazing. It chops it up into small pieces and makes quick work of something like this. This rotten wood here is gonna be a hugely valuable part of our garden's future soil. It used to be there were 2 large spruce trees growing here, but due to dryness they didn't survive and we had them cut down. But I left the trunks here to rot and be a home to many insects and fungi and many species. But now it's almost completely rotten and it's really easy to break into small pieces and chunks. So I'm gonna leave it as is now, and once the garden is fully set up, I'm gonna use the mulching blade on the spacing saw to cut it into very small pieces and then mix it into the soil. This way it becomes a hugely valuable part of our soil, and it's from directly here, so I didn't have to bring in any outside resources. It's just the only thing it needed was water, dampness and time. So the future shape of our garden is now mowed out. I've chopped up all the brambles and all the old grass and everything growing in there. Now the whole area is covered in a beautiful mulch. You can see that the garden as a whole is a bit on a slope, And there is even a big dent or almost a hole in it, which we dug many years ago. The idea was to be like a sunken bed for melons. We haven't used it for that, but I think it's going to be a valuable part for the future garden, so the dent is going to be included. See you in the next installment, where you can see the next step and processes to our beautiful experimental garden plot. Bye!